Hey, boys and girls, buffaloes and bunnies. Weather report for September 28th, 2021. Or is it the 29th? It's the 29th. What did I put? 29th.
It's the next to the last day of September.
Oh my God. Guys, I have 228, so I have to go change the name. Oh, and while I'm at it, I'm going to take out the link to that guy's channel out of my video because apparently what he wanted is just to get a recording to put up on a stupid list of videos that he has on his channel, none of which you can possibly listen to because they are so bad with just him asking your response over and over again. So anyway, there's that. Are you sure it's the 29th?
That's what my computer says, and that's what my phone says.
Well, let me fix that. I have 228. Oh, God, what happened?
My top pick is 29.
Yeah, it has to be 29 because I'm 25,834 days old. So I knew that part. I got that part right. But
before we forget, hey, Nesslig, how are you doing?
Anyway,
hello.
That conversation I had was the only reason he did it is because he wanted to put content on his channel. I did not give him permission to upload that video. And I think that's pretty scummy to go ahead and upload it without permission. So
maybe the rules are different in Australia for some reason.
Well, the rules are different for Christians. They don't have any grounds for their morality other than the Bible. And if the Bible doesn't specifically have a passage about YouTube content, then they're not going to know what to do. Right? I mean, it's just anybody's grab.
Yeah, they'd be kind of frozen, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to replace that.
I'm not sure about that guy, and he may have had other channels taken down, possibly. I'm not sure about that, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, I did not give him permission to use that, and I don't like the fact that he did at all. I probably would have taken that video down and just, splice pieces of it, and because it was useless. It doesn't really belong on my channel. I don't know. Anyway, so more important things. Lil Peepee did a... okay, first of all, did you look at Raw Matt's video? Anyone look at Raw Matt's video on the flood?
Nope.
Oh, my goodness. So he starts out with all these ancient maps that he found, and he's trying to find Eden. And Eden is like south, and most of the time it's like way up in the north or way out in the east or out in Siberia. And it's like Eden is just all over the place. And then I had to quit watching because, apparently he got everything from like the Bible and these and from the Dead Sea Scrolls and from ancient maps or something. So he did a whole show on the flood. And I got about maybe 1/3 of the way through it, and I couldn't figure out what in the hell he was talking about. Or what
I used to research all that stuff back in the day.
Did you?
And it was like, it's like in a lake, supposed to be where it is now, the Eden, like where they keep talking about like the flood overtook mountains or something, and it kept the water there. So now Eden is buried underneath the lake or something. There's like old evidence of rivers. From space, you could see the Tigris and Euphrates or something.
Yeah, but that isn't where he was saying it was.
The lake.
That's what shocked me, because they had Israel, and Jerusalem and all that right at the center, and the Euphrates is real close to that. But then Eden was always way out on the border of the map, way out by some ocean somewhere, like in Siberia or in Asia or, way to Northern Europe, they always showed Siberia or Eden at a different spot way on the edge of the map. So that's why I couldn't quite figure out where the fruit bat was going with it. But I suppose I should have watched the whole video and try to see where he was going with it. But I would like to sig Dr. Josh on that one, actually, because he was getting in some ancient history. And he was using ancient maps. Oh, and he showed these maps, and he was like, oh, yeah, they knew a lot about the Earth. And, like, they got a big circle divided into 3 different chunks on some of these maps for the 3 different sons of Noah or whatever. Shebeth or something or some, I don't know what their weird names are, but
here's something I think.
What's that?
Here's I think something looks like what I remember what I looked up a long time ago.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, right? But no, that isn't where they were showing it at all. He had it way, way far away from this area, right? It was like way on the edge of the map. So on all these old maps, these ancient maps, they put Eden or Garden of Eden, or they would just say Eden, and it didn't seem to be anywhere near this. This is like the center. Go ahead.
How many times do we have to tell these people that historical records, things written down by people, aren't very reliable?
No, these maps are just hilarious when you look at them. I mean,
the difference between what they were making stories and stuff, and back then, and then some of the real life they brought into it, like we do with Spider-Man, in New York.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell.
Raw nakedness is the only one that
think about it in real life terms. A lot of things.
So raw nakedness is the only one that actually reads my title and puts out the real content. Anyway, she gets it.
It's the weather report for the parallel universe where creationists still exist.
Yeah. And precepts. Oh my God, that guy was such a moron. He just, it was almost like he took a bunch of words off a Scrabble board or something and jumbled them together. And, he went and cherry picked a bunch of precept sites and jumbled them together and put together sentences. He wasn't making a lot of sense. So, and then he asked me, what's your response? It's like, well, I'm flabbergasted. I'm just absolutely sitting here with my jaw hanging on the table. Just like, what did he just say?
Wait, that seems to be shifting the burn of proof, doesn't it?
It kind of, I don't know.
I don't know how he phrased it, but I don't know. It sounds towards that level.
Well, he was trying to get at, matter didn't exist. So if it didn't exist, what was he trying to say? If matter didn't exist, it had, okay, if it existed prior, he was talking about particulars, right? And a particular, would be like one particular object in the world. But then he was talking about that, but then he kept saying that the particular would have to be absolute if it existed before it existed. And it would have to be infinite in scope or something. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that guy's mind. But it was broken. Very broken, man. And
there was a wolf on the screen.
How'd you get back? How'd you get full screen? I'm making it. Okay. What? How'd that happen?
Quantum fluctuation.
Yeah. So, okay. Got his Orgay or Jason Torn in here yet? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, let me get my headphones on.
We make do what we have.
Yeah. I put a spider on because I'm going to show a spider later that I was sitting here and a little spider parachuted down from the light fixture. And he was so tiny that you just caught him. You could kind of catch a glimpse of him in the sun. And I threw him under my microscope and I blew him up, I think 180 times. And you could actually see him, and he looked pretty gnarly. But the first video I took of him was when he was fresh out of the refrigerator, and he had some frost on his eyeballs, so his eyes were glowing red. And I looked under the microscope, and his eyes were glowing red. And I just watched Midnight Mass on Netflix, and I'm just like, holy shit. It scared me.
Well, I had a near spider experience a few days ago where I was walking by the window, and well, nowhere near as extreme, but like I happened to see, I think it was like a Black Widow or something, a close relative, and it was the first time I actually saw it wrapping around silk around a dead cricket or something, and eating it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. Were his eyes glowing?
I don't think so. So yeah, I guess it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Yeah.
Hi, Inquisitor. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday there was when I was doing the dishes, I saw something that looked like this.
Garden spider? That like
I guess.
Was it big? Oh, that looks kind of little though, actually.
It's just a normal size.
Garden spiders
bottom.
Yeah, garden spiders almost get to be the size of your hand. And they have bizarre yellow markings and they look dangerous as hell, but I don't think they are.
Anyone ever heard of a banana spider?
No. Oh, I think
dangerous.
yes. I
it's
have.
where they leave your
bananas
parts blown up.
Yeah, they hide in bananas. They're pretty venomous.
If you get bitten by it, yeah. And
oh, you mean your testicles actually swell up? Like the vaccine?
Oh, no, I mean, it makes the blood go to your area, I think.
Oh, you get like a 4 hour.
I think that was in 1,000 Ways to Die. I've heard about it.
Oh.
Or I saw the video of when they were talking about it.
You get the dreaded 8-hour erection.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, the dreaded 8-hour erection. Then you die. Holy shit.
I think we should stop on the subject before someone gets arachnophobia.
Yeah, y'all going to give me arachnophobia here right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much when I think about spiders. Usually I'm cool with them, but when I think too much of them, I get that creepy crawly feeling all over my skin. Which reminds me, I do, Speed mentioned it, but I do recommend Midnight Mass if you're into a scary, dark, almost Stephen King-like horror series. Limited series.
Yeah, and it starts out strangely like looking like almost like one of those Christian miracle movies.
Yeah.
You know, like but it takes a bit of a dark turn, and the turn gets darker and darker.
No spoilers, please. You're ahead of me.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Okay, yeah. No, the miracles are real. Don't worry. Everything's cool. Everything's happy.
Anyway.
Everybody has a happy ending, Scott.
Well, I'm glad everybody gets a happy ending.
Wait, that's a banana spider?
I think. I looked it up.
No, that's not a banana spider. Or that's not look up Brazilian wandering spider. That looks more like an orb weaver.
We'll do anything to avoid getting to this raw mat video.
Well, we'll have to eventually.
I think raw mat videos are worse than a banana spider.
How about the guy Thomas put in here, the camel spiders? Those are enormous.
Oh,
those over in Iraq.
Yeah, they're the really tough spiders that smoke filterless camels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those camel spiders aren't spiders, actually.
Can you listen to
Solifugids?
Solifugids, yes.
Okay. Sorry, what was that, Speed? Sorry, we're talking about.
I was trying to change the subject to this video. So should we change? Should we listen to the Lil Peepee getting real on living fossils first?
No.
And then go back and listen with the hope that Orge or Jason would show up.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, we'll do that.
Sounds efficient.
Good. No, I haven't listened to this, so.
Okay,
rolling.
Yeah, and I would say that would be really easily answered with it. It's just a species.
Hey, hang on.
Oh,
Andrew, did you just say because there's different variations, even if there's variations that don't exist now, but the ones that we do see now did exist then? Are you saying that because other variations that don't now, that therefore the ones that do exist aren't actually representative of living fossils?
What did he just say?
I zoned out for a second. I don't know what he was saying.
Andrew, did you understand what he said?
No.
What? I need a John whisperer to reinterpret that. What did he say?
Me too.
It was related to how I was saying that crocodilians, for example, aren't living fossils because if you go back into the like Jurassic, Triassic period, you have things that are still crocodilians but look nothing like the aquatic ambush predators that we're so familiar with today. So
okay,
some of them even lived on land. So that's what he was responding to.
And like the oldest genus that we have still around, like I think, I don't know the specific one, but I think the oldest genus that we still have is like only 6 million years old or so.
Yeah.
And the whole group is about as ancient as placental mammals. So yeah.
Yeah. I think
I'm gonna play it again because I just need to try it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say that would be really easily answered with it. It's just a species.
Hey, hang on, Andrew. Did you just say because there's different variations, even if there's variations that don't exist now, but the ones that we do see now did exist then? Are you saying that because other variations existed that don't now, that therefore the ones that do exist aren't actually representative living fossils? So I'm pretty sure that's what I just heard.
Okay, Dannykins.
Will you have to take
okay. It wasn't any better.
Yeah, the species that we have now weren't there.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Well, we get to that later.
Maybe he thinks that like there were aquatic forms back then, like there were also terrestrial forms, and even some that climbed trees for crying out loud. Like there were the huge diversity. Yeah. But of course, even the aquatic ones were different species than we have now. So yeah.
Right.
May I ask a question of our science students and enthusiasts?
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't they call them living fossils? Basically, when they at one time thought they were extinct, and then they were discovered, and
that's kind of
Lazarus taxon.
Yeah, it's a specific subset of it, but yeah, it's a Lazarus taxon.
Okay,
so it's not exactly the same.
No.
So what's the specific definition of a living fossil?
There really isn't any.
It's more like an arbitrary stance. Like, oh, it looks about the same vague. For my feeling, even though they're not quantifiably distinct. So yeah.
So when you eyeball it, it looks the same as something that was found as a fossil.
Yeah, it looks like a living
like something that looks relatively unchanged from ancestral fossils.
Yeah. Okay, a living fossil is an extant taxon that cosmetically resemble ancestral species known only from the fossil record. So cosmetically, it's like,
the quintessential example is the coelacanth, but even the genus that we have today, Lettermaria, that genus is only found, even the fossils of Lettermaria is only found in recent, or in the paleo, like the Cenozoic.
Right, that's the point I was trying to make here. That it's a matter of perspective. Once you go back far enough, the whole thing, you're basically picking out one lineage and saying, oh, the X and Y along this lineage look the same, so it hasn't changed. Well, you're ignoring the other 100 lineages. So yeah,
that's actually a very good paper, or several papers actually, that show the evolutionary tree of coelacanths, and there also the huge diversity. And like there were some that were like very big, and some were very small and have very different shape and sizes to them. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's rest. Roland.
Sure. Account all the traits if you're going to. Well, this gets into ideas of common ancestry.
Hang on. Let's be very direct. Are you stating that because there were other variations that don't exist now, that the point that Matt was making about the crocodiles and alligators going back at the same time or potentially even before, just because they exist still, but the other variations don't, or did, and somehow they're not living fossils?
No, that's not completely what I'm saying.
So if they existed then and they exist now, are they living fossils? Yes or no?
But they don't exist back then. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think that was the point that Matt was making. You're claiming that because there are other variations that existed then, that somehow the ones that exist now couldn't be the same as the ones that existed then. Isn't that correct?
Well, even the ones that live in the same environment aren't the same.
Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
Okay, repeat the question.
Okay. If you have A then, and A is still A now, just because there were other B and C variations of A that don't exist now, are you saying that A does not exist now as it did then?
Oh, that is so
I guess
philosophical.
partly, but I would disagree with even that premise.
No, we have more like, we have A now, and there used to be a B, C, D, and E and such, and some of them were similar to A, but they weren't A. That's what they have.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's a better way than I could put it.
Yeah. Have we ever found an exact, an extant species, and then found a 200 million year old fossil that was identical in every feature, right? Have we ever found that?
No.
Not really. But later on, Matt claimed. Matt claimed.
Of course, we have examples of species that we have around today. Like we have anatomically modern humans living like 100,000 years ago or so or more, but not in the 60 million year age. No, but yeah,
We don't have DNA from that long ago, so there's no way to match.
this is from a
But
recent
we have the
paper.
fossils that look the same, close to the same.
Right.
This is from a recent paper that shows I think it tackles a specific species of coelacanth. This one on the bottom left. But of course, they also show the wide diversity of coelacanths that used to exist. And the only ones we have for today is on the very bottom, Latimeria. That's the only one we have left.
Do you have a link to this illustration that you're
I
looking at here?
can find the paper, yes.
Okay, that'd be
Well,
cool.
like I was saying earlier, and like I mentioned later on in the video, not in this clip, but it's a matter of perspective in that you can say, kind of sarcastically, once you've seen a fish or once you've seen a vertebrate, you've basically seen them all. Because compared to other phyla, vertebrates the body plan is pretty conserved. So it just depends on what group you're looking at.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. So, should I roll it a little bit?
Yeah, it gets heated. It gets more heated.
So basically, you're saying that living fossils don't exist?
Yeah. Well, no.
I mean, full stasis, no evolution whatsoever. No, of course not. They don't exist.
Good.
Okay, so we all account for variability, but you're stating that they're just completely different than what was then versus now. Is that what you're saying?
They're different.
I'm not
completely.
What I take it.
Yeah, he's trying to straw man you.
Yeah.
They're trying
I'm
to
asking is because
duality. It's like a duality thing.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't get it.
Again, it says cosmetically similar or the same.
Right. Superficially similar. Yeah.
Doesn't say there's the same species, and if we looked at the DNA, we'd see the normal mutation rates anyway.
if you speed a bunch of there were these variations, and there's the crocodilians and blah blah, and the dinosaurs were eating the same things, but they were smaller and blah blah blah. It's okay, cool. So there's
I'm not disagreeing with the general.
That's around the way.
What did he say about the crocodiles and dinosaurs? Can you go back a bit?
Eating the same kind of stuff.
Smaller and blah. Well, there were these variations, and there's the crocodilians and blah blah, and the dinosaurs were eating the same things, but they were smaller and blah blah blah. It's okay, cool. So there's.
What was he saying there?
What the hell is he saying? They're eating the same things, but they were smaller. What?
I don't know.
It was something I was saying earlier.
Oh,
you'd have to rewatch the whole thing.
Okay. So is he going with the ancient species were bigger because there was more oxygen or something? I don't know.
No, not really. It's just something
They were closer to Noah's Ark.
Yeah, closer to no. Yeah, they were less genetically entropied. Okay.
I'm not
the bugs that
with
bugs that get the bugs are the ones that get the oxygen in their body easier when so they would get bigger. That's I already said it backwards. I think.
Yep.
I'm
so
if you have sorry.
If you have something to say, Andrew, you definitely have to say Dannykins because I can't tell the difference between your
right
between
okay.
you. Yes. Well, okay. Now, yesterday, no, are you a living fossil? Because yesterday you sounded very much like you do today. So that's a question. Yes or no answer, Andrew. Are you a living fossil? Because you sound just like you did yesterday.
In relating it to the yesterday, it doesn't make sense. But relating it to our common ancestors.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just asking. You know, I'm just trying to nail you down.
I guess yes.
Just asking questions.
You are a living fossil because we have fossil evidence of you yesterday, and you are exactly the same. There's no variations here. A is A.
So.
Yeah. So there we go.
The word fossil. What does the fossil mean? So.
The yesterday's Andrew. I'm calling it a fossil. I'm calling.
Okay, if you change the word to mean that, I guess it does.
My channel. I can make up any shit I want.
DNA is a code. I call it what I want.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway,
I've been called a fossil before.
Let's listen to this. Also, okay, do you have content in that living fossils thing on the forum yet, Top Dog?
Yes, he does.
How the hell did you? The link you put up for the forum where you have a living fossil.
At least 3 videos, and I've seen one of them, and they're good, and the other one's from a really good source.
Okay, so anyway, there's linked in the description. We already had something on living fossils. So who did we lose?
Yep.
Nesslig?
Oh, no, Nesslig.
No, Nesslig. Come back. We need you.
Maybe you have some connection problems.
Yeah, okay.
No, you did have lagging, he said.
Okay, we're gonna roll a little bit.
General,
he's back.
That's around an around the way dance of the point that was being made by Matt. Go ahead, you guys.
Well, I might have misunderstood his point because if he was, what I was responding to is the claim that they haven't changed whatsoever throughout geological time. That's what I take issue with. Of course, you can have superficial morphology stay the same, but you can't see biochemical changes, for example, in fossils. You have to take into account the family tree of that group as well. Like if you're going to say crocodilians as a group,
right? But you have
living fossils.
But you have basically zero genetic data on those arguments, right?
Although actually,
on what arguments?
We actually do.
Well, the tree that you're creating, you have zero genetic data for the tree for your timeline, right?
Phylogenetic trees. We have massive amounts of data for that.
Dude, all of the phylogenetic data is
Dannykins. Nesslig had a point he wanted to make.
Go ahead.
Of course, he's going for the point that we can't compare the genes of these old fossil forms, but of course we can measure the genetic change that occurs today with these organisms. Like for example, you have the Tuatara. I think, from New Zealand, the lizard-like thing from New Zealand, which is often called a living fossil too. That is one of the most fastest evolving genomes, I think, that has been determined to this day.
Right.
So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, another thing is like, if you're doing phylogenetics with modern molecular data, you can kind of work that out and then kind of retro predict. Okay, what would I expect to find in the fossil record if this is true? The pattern should line up. That's the important thing, and I don't think he gets that. So it doesn't matter if there's DNA in fossils or whatever. Yeah, just keep going and we'll see.
Oh, African Orphan is back.
Is there a difference between a lion and a tiger skeleton?
Good question.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be differences. You're going to have to be a specialist to find them, probably, but you're going to see a difference. Skeletons are. I mean, you could tell what species you have based on a skeleton, I believe.
Saying that lions and tigers are so closely looking the same that you could tell. Or if you look just in the fossils, I mean, if we're a layman.
Yeah, but when you study bones, there's all these little holes in the bones where the nerves and blood vessels enter, and there's these little tubercles on the bones, and they have very subtly different shapes. They have variation, of course, but I don't know. I'm not a specialist in that field, so it's possible that some cats are very similar. Hard to tell.
What I'm trying to get to is that they look close in the fossil or the skeleton, but in their biological with all the meat.
Oh
and
yeah,
hair,
they'd be different.
They look
right?
totally different.
Yeah. I'm guessing that the skeleton would vary less, maybe, than the external morphology. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all relative. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
It's not always one-to-one relationship.
Okay, let's try to get through some more.
Okay.
Life forms, correct?
Correct.
No, there you have trees and paleontology too.
How much very, very, very minimal DNA has been analyzed, correct?
Wait, are you saying you need DNA for phylogenetics?
Okay. If you're going to bring up the molecular data on this context versus the morphological inferences on this, on something that's supposed, are you claiming that you have genetic material from...
Hello.
Is that your position?
Just a midnight impression.
No.
Okay, then that was my point.
Spot on.
You can't make a genetic comparison to a direct genetic comparison to something that supposedly from your timeline existed 200, 300, 400, 500 million years ago, when the data you're looking at right now is the genetic, other than a very, very minimal amount, is the
Okay, Dannykins. So if you can't make a direct genetic comparison, then how do you know that you have a living fossil? That it's or that A is identical to A? How do they know? You get my
they
point?
want it to be
Yeah,
like the descendant, or the modern life to be descendants of all the fossils or something.
I mean, they don't know either. They're just going by what the fossil looks like. And if you look into the fossil with a CAT scan, basically, what do they stick them in an MRI? Is it a CAT scan? I don't know. But I mean, they look into these fossils, they find a lot of variation, and it's a whole science.
Yeah, we do it by population, not by DNA.
Yeah, but I mean, for fossils, what we're looking at as far as morphology goes, and I don't think they've found anything that's identical. And anyway, how do they know if they don't have the DNA that it's still exactly the same creature, right? So he's asking a question that applies to both of you. So
a vast majority of trees created from doing comparisons of currently living, or very recently living, and by very recently I mean like within this timeline, because we haven't even been studying DNA for more than 100 years at this point.
I mean, again, it depends on the field you're looking at.
So you're denying that that 99.9% of the...
Did you say Dannykins, Nesslig?
Where's Dannykins?
Oh, I was just saying, like I have something to show again, but you can play it until you need to.
Okay.
Comparisons that are made are not from DNA sequences that have been done of either currently living or very recently living.
Yes, a large majority of it is currently done using molecular data. Not all of it, though. Probably not the majority of it.
Right. So the rest of it is done from inference, correct?
Inference?
What do you mean by inference here? Just like eyeballing bones?
That's not inference. That's eyeballing.
This is why I know that you think in such a small window.
I just wanted to talk to Gra for a minute, because he asked the question about Danikins.
Yeah.
Used to be, Grower, back in the way back before you were just a little YouTuber.
Tyke. Yeah, you were a little
Just
tyke.
a little lad.
Yeah, you were just a little guy. We would say foreskin to have the video paused, and somebody objected to the term foreskin, and so we thought that we would put a different, less offensive word up, and we decided on Danikins,
Which is equally offensive to some of us, but
to
anyway,
one of us.
Yeah,
to one of us.
okay, it just turns out that the somebody who had a problem with the word foreskin was actually named Danny. So Danny actually was the one that raised the whole problem in the beginning, right? And like, okay, when you listen to Danny talk about how he came into Christianity and some of the things in his life that he admits to, and then you think that he has a problem with the word foreskin, something does not add up.
Wait. I'm sorry, I was interrupted outside of
okay.
YouTube. But who got upset by that word?
Danny had a problem with the word foreskin, right?
Why?
And really, I think Andrew really doesn't like us saying it either. So
Me neither.
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with foreskins?
Top Dog. I'm sorry, the Top Dog doesn't either.
I mean, I don't have a foreskin, but what's wrong with foreskins?
I don't know. Yeah, we all want one. We have foreskin envy.
It was taken from me as a child.
It was taken from me.
I had no
Yeah.
Spit, can you show my screen for a minute?
Yeah,
What's
that?
doing in here?
Hello,
Ness
Scott.
didn't have a link.
Shut up. Here we go. There's that screen. There's that screen.
As long as none of us had
I-
a bar mitzvah, it's not in our recent memories. Of how
I found
we
the
got
paper
removed
from
our-
where this image is from. It's from this paper here. It talks about this specific species. You can show the reconstruction here below. It is a very weird coelacanth, as you can see. And it's also interesting to know that this is a consequence of heterochrony, which is like the change in development, is how this strange form evolved, basically. But then,
Timing and development. Yeah.
But I was actually trying to find a different paper, this one, although it's not open access, unfortunately. But here you can see the image from this paper, and this is a much better image to show the evolution of coelacanths.
Oh, nice.
representation.
Could you perhaps share the link to those papers, or maybe the title in the private?
This is the image, and this is the paper here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Nesslig.
Because I like to put them in
final,
the description.
Also, there's
Put it in my forum.
There's another good.
Whoever wants to do that.
Put it in your foreskin.
Forum.
A few more things. There's another good paper here from this coelacanth as almost living fossils. A very good paper that tackles in the concept of living fossil directly. And here is a paper on the Tuatara genome, as it says right here.
Hold on.
And it says right here, it compared fossil of DNA from fossil samples, and it shows that the genome is very rapidly evolving, even when you compare it to directly to the old fossilized Tuatara. So yeah, we can do that, in fact.
Yeah, like I was saying, like the biochemistry, the molecules of the organism doesn't have to stay the same, even if the overall morphology is staying the same.
As it says here, the fossils for up to 8,000 years ago shows that the Tuatara seems to do one thing remarkably fast: evolution. So yeah, it is evolving really. From the genome perspective, it's evolving really very fast. Even though morphologically speaking, the old fossils of Tuatara seems to very slow evolution. Yeah.
So all the genes are going to the stuff that's not bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes me, I guess, speculate. Like, what if a lot of it is changes to like proteins or enzymes or things like that, and not necessarily like things reminiscent of like Hox genes or stuff. I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
Yeah, I'm also curious to like in what areas of the genome are they evolving very rapidly? Maybe they are evolving more in the as you said, more in the protein side, or
right.
I will look at more of this paper. Maybe it shows exactly where like what genes are changing very fast. I don't know.
Yeah, if you can find an answer to that, that would be awesome. Yeah,
Hey,
definitely share it with me.
When I see
You post it.
when I see the term living
I'll
fossil,
put the link in the private chat. Maybe Speed can copy paste them in the below in the description later.
I have a forum, so you can put it in there sometime too. Anybody can put their
Yep. So you're linking
There's
all
two
those
cents in there,
papers in the private chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I want to put them all in the description and in the forum. So I will do that. I will put them in the forum, Top Dog. I'll make an entry. So
Okay.
We're gonna say something.
I need.
when I see the term living fossil, it makes me think of you, Speed.
oh, you,
Guys, stop it for that.
you. Whoops, we lost Gur. I don't know where he went. I have no idea.
It's
where
amazing
Gur
how
went.
that happens.
It's just
People
every
just
time.
drop off for no reason.
Well, it's like somebody doesn't want people to talk about me in a disparaging manner. I don't know.
Are we
I'm
gonna
not sure what
go back to
happens.
the video, maybe, Speed?
Hey,
Oh,
did
we
you-
can.
in that video, did you see LPP kick off? What's that guy's name? Sky Out?
Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, I think Sky Out is an old Earth creationist and doesn't believe in a global flood.
Correct.
Yeah.
And whatever he was saying, I don't even remember. I was partially asleep. All I caught was the part where LPP's like, "No, you're gone. You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot." And LPP was angry at him.
So you're saying the Holy Spirit came over LPP and he discerned that the guy was an idiot, because you get discernment from the Holy Spirit, and then you get all that love and that joy and that goodness and faithfulness and self-control, and then you kick them off. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
I think so. I think he did an exorcism on him. Kicked him out of the stream.
Every time I've ever seen the Holy Spirit, he's always been pissed. He's always, globally flooded mankind to death or some shit like that. He's always pissed.
A very
The dude
loving-
ought to chill. Maybe we could slip him some cannabis, and chill him out a little bit. Oh, fuck. Anyway, okay. Moving on.
Sure. Yeah, I think LPP still has a thing or two to say about me. Silence.
Oh, I was waiting for a clip.
The thing about John kind of mentioned the big picture a couple times, and he mentions it in all his videos. And he's like, you guys aren't seeing the big picture, right? And he sees the big picture, but scientists don't see the big picture.
Right.
Anytime somebody starts talking about a big picture, you kind of know that they haven't done the prerequisite work in the field to know what all the pictures are, right? They just want to keep talking about the big picture. It's like, as they see it. Yeah. And it's like, well, your big picture, John, is pretty fucking small and sad. It's just, until you do the work. Anyway. Okay.
Hey, Top Dog, did you post the link to your blog?
Are you talking?
It's scienceandnaturalism.com.
It's in the description.
Yeah.
In the description.
I have it favorited or bookmarked, whatever.
Yeah, it's in the description.
Yeah,
in the description. God damn. Okay. People look at my fucking description.
Hey, Peter says he has a big picture of you naked.
Yeah, he has a big picture of it. He has a big picture of himself naked that he pasted my wonderful my wonderful face on his sad little Dutchman body who has been through just
Mountains
such
of cocaine.
ravages. It's just like, oh my God, if I looked in the mirror and my body looked like that, I swear I would hang myself.
Oh wow.
You would need the Holy Spirit.
I would need the Holy Spirit, man. It's just like, yeah. If you let your body look like that, you obviously don't have a very good relationship with exercise.
You've lost the fight.
You have lost the fight. It's time to fucking just call it. It's like, oh my God. Oh shit.
So Maddox is basically saying, like, looking at a painting with a dot painting, we're looking at seeing the big picture, you had to zoom out.
Yeah. There you go.
Ah,
The big picture.
I never saw that well coming.
Very cool trick there, Top Dog.
Very cool trick.
Cool.
That's his
Okay.
imagination. Yeah.
Does this get more heated or?
A little bit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I want to watch it because Andrew, I forgot you were there last night. I was half asleep when I was watching it.
No problem.
I did try to encourage you to go in there, and then I got sleepy.
Okay.
I'm like, I'll go in there. I'll back you up. We got this. All right. Good night.
Okay. So Andrew was talking almost constantly, and somehow Gurr forgot that he was there. Now that is the definition of self-centered. Jesus Christ!
I'm running on coffee and fumes, and it's not helping.
I've watched a few live streams in my day that I was really pumped for, but ended up falling asleep because sometimes you're just sleepy.
Yeah. Sometimes the live stream sings you to sleep.
I thought you were about to say yeah, and then I realized it was Gurr streams, so I fell asleep automatically.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to be that specific, but there's a probability that you're right.
Yeah.
It's logical plot, blah, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
LPP.
Little peepee.
Little peepee.
I do want to see more of this video. I want to see where it gets spicy.
Okay. Let's see if it gets
It
spicy.
doesn't get jalapeno spicy, but it's about the spiciest we've gotten for a while.
Ooh,
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
I'm
let's
looking
listen.
forward to it.
Let's go.
Well, from my opinion, at least. But yeah, I'm glad you're interested. Grr.
I am very interested. I hope it's a great conversation. Okay, that was
No
stretching.
comments.
Speed, play the damn video.
Now I'm kind of hungry for Frosted Flakes.
They're great.
Am I not playing the video? Am I not? Oh,
No,
we're
it's
listening.
just not
We're just
sharing.
waiting for you to
Sharing your
play it.
screen, yeah.
Oh, oh, but Stink is talking.
Yeah.
Did we miss some while you were?
You missed a little
Not
bit
on?
of you missed a little bit of Stink,
Ah, God
but
damn
that's about
Speed.
it. You don't have to listen to this guy.
I think he's saying that if you're using morphological data, then you're just inferring it only from that one frame of reference, and that could be a flawed inference point.
That's not fucking inferring. That's using morphological data. Okay, there's a difference. Inferring would be if you had no data. If you had no data points. Okay, right? Am I right? Okay. If you,
I would say all science is inference.
well, yeah, to a degree, but
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're looking at morphological data of a species from 60 million years ago, and you're looking at the same skeletons today, okay, you are not inferring, you are seeing differences in that morphology, basically. And
Not the same
similarities.
skeleton,
Right?
Similar.
But
Right.
similar but different. But no, nobody's guessing with these fossils. I mean, a layman looks at a pile of bones, the pictures of a fossil, and yeah, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot out of that. But these guys go a lot further than this when they study these fossils. And I think that these guys don't know that. I don't think they quite understand what they do.
Yeah.
They haven't looked at the 3D reconstructions and all of the stuff that they do with these fossils today.
I will give credit to Smokey. This might be I might be late to this, but in
Thank
a way, I am glad that he's not a young Earth creationist. I'll give him that. That's about as much as I can give him, but yeah.
I just happen to think that's just bait.
Switch.
He's baiting us, right?
It'd be like praise where he's back and forth too.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean he does take a lot of shit from like Standing for Truth. I remember in this stream particularly, Standing for Truth, he was calling him a comedy show and laughing at him. I think he even called him a name or two. I was actually kind of shocked.
Oh, he calls everyone a comedy show.
Oh. Okay,
that's like Bozo the Clown calling somebody else a comedy show. I mean, it's like Standing for Truth is the original Bozo. I mean,
he has called me a chicken repeatedly after I refused to debate him.
Yeah, who'd want to debate Bozo? Anyway,
also focus on SFT.
Well, comedians are maybe the most intelligent.
Not this one. Not this one.
I mean, sometimes.
I would say usually that is probably the case. More than not.
Yeah, good comedians that make you laugh. Yeah. How many times have you laughed with Standing for Truth? I mean, how many times have you laughed at his jokes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's always talking about evolutionists, and then he starts chuckling. And it's like you're supposed to laugh with him, but but it's like, okay, what was funny there exactly?
Speaking of him, he did respond to my email after a couple weeks, which was maybe a week ago, and I still haven't gotten back with him because if he's not making me a priority, I don't really. At this point, I'm like, I don't care. It's whatever.
It normally takes about 6 months to get through the entire emails, and then what he'll do is in chat he'll say, "Yeah, well, when are you going to debate me?" And almost as if you haven't had emails for the last 6 months, right? He'll just suddenly pop up and say, "When are you going to debate me?" And it's like, wait a minute.
Has he done that to you personally?
Yeah.
Can I screen share? Okay, can you screen share my screen for again 1 minute? Nope. This is how I feel when standing wants to debate me.
I gotta zoom in.
You're not coming from a place of intellectual honesty.
Oh yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate actually. Yeah. Of most Christian apologists, it's actually from a kids show. I love the show, by the way. I don't know. Are you familiar with the Owl House? It's a very good show.
No,
I've not heard of it.
Yeah, sometimes the stuff they put in kid shows is pretty much they put in a lot of adult content. I think.
This is a direct quote, and they want adults to watch it. By the way. This is a direct quote, by the way. It actually takes a jab at online debate stuff. Yeah, I really love it.
Okay. Nice. I do find kid cartoons more often than not to be funnier than adult cartoons. Because like Family Guy is hit or miss, and it's usually miss.
Let's try to get through this part of the video so I can play the Fruit Bats great rendition of early the birth of the earth or whatever. Anyway,
birth of the earth.
Birth of the earth. It's coming up.
Nice ring to it.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of a fucking poet, when
you're just a Stephanie Trenton, aren't you?
I'm a Stephanie Trenton of this. Yeah.
So was the birth of the earth when before Thea hit it, or after?
I think he was talking about
birth
some meat. I'm not sure. Anyway. I think it was when they cut the foreskin. That was the birth. I don't know.
A metaphor, huh?
Yeah, metaphorically. Playing.
I think that's what Maddox is trying to play.
Let's try to get through this.
Okay, so not independent lines of data to corroborate the morphology, right?
So you're basically dealing with only morphological inferences because that's the only information you have for fossils that are a certain period of time. If they're more recent, we can actually use the genomic information to parse out their ancestry. But from a morphological level,
yeah, but he's not okay. If you have the fossil, you can see morphology in the fossil. You're not inferring that. You're looking at the fossil. And if you see a bone, and you compare that bone to another bone from an extant species, that's not inference, that's comparison.
Right.
Okay, but I think that was kind of lost on him. So that's the part I'm kind of pushing back on here. And yes, we don't have genes. So if we were to talk about what the genetic makeup was, yes, then we would have to do some inference, right?
Right.
But no, that isn't where the whole thing came from. So and they're doing exactly the same thing by trying to claim that the fossil is identical to the extant species, therefore it is a living fossil. And it turns out that's not what they're saying. They're saying it resembles cosmetically, but when they look into it, they're going to find differences. Damn, guys. Okay.
You only have the bones to go off of, then you're kind of being more inferential as opposed to exhaustive.
No.
Well, I would slightly disagree. I would say inference is part of molecular phylogenetics as well. You have to use different models of evolution, for example. But like if you're going to say
yes, but you actually have actual real time data to make your comparisons to, and then to ultimately reach your inferences. So but the inferences you're reaching are based on real time or very close to real time.
What do you mean by real?
Fossils are real time data. We have the fossil.
Right. That's time.
Right.
Like what we collected in the lab, or it's recent.
And Andrew, seriously, dude, let's not play semantic dumbassery tonight. Okay, I'm tired. I had a long day. I don't have time.
Okay.
That's great coming from him.
You're gonna play semantic games. So by real time or near real time, again, I've already clarified this. The molecular data comparisons and alignments and everything that are being done are from organisms that have been sequenced in very near time, right? And then when you're doing the analysis, you're doing those in real time, right? And with being run through the variety of models, right? Okay,
correct.
So you're now making your inference based on data that's taken. I mean, if you want to go with real time, like in terms of like actually gaining the data every second as you're running it through the computer system, that's just dumb, Andrew. So don't even ask. Like that's just moronic, dude. Any kind of big data analysis, it's been acquired prior to running it through. Okay, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
you do grasp that concept, right? Okay, then why are you even asking dumbass questions? Like, what do you mean by real time data? Like,
well, because I'm trying to understand what you're saying. That's part of the conversation.
Andrew, are you really not grasping the point? How many times do I have to repeat myself? Is the molecular data that's being analyzed, has it been acquired either very, very recently from stuff that's freaking alive right now?
Yes, I already agree with that.
Okay, cool. So the inferences that are being made are in relation to the data that can be analyzed from a molecular level, right? Everything else, every other inference has zero to do with molecular data. You're trying to apply the things, the data is being applied to the past, right? But you don't actually have any data to compare it to. None. You have zero data.
Well, here's the thing. You have
level. So the rest of it, and dude, you go on your tangents about phylogenetic trees and phylogenies all the time. But I've read multiple books on this topic, and they all talk about.
God.
Do you really think he knows anything about phylogenetics?
No.
I don't know.
He's snapping for actual good questions and stuff to make clarification. And
right.
Is it worth going on?
Is it just because he's tired?
I think it's almost over.
Okay, give it another minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
The inferences and the problems with it, and the things that must be accounted for. And yes, we have this data here. We think this is why we think these inferences are correct, and these are more supported than others. Yada yada yada. You have to do the probabilities game and run it through multiple, all these different factors, right? But it's readily accepted that it's all inference, ultimately. So why are you trying? So why? Yeah, you were dancing around the premise and playing semantic games. This is why you annoy the crap out of me. Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, distance is why he's annoyed, I guess.
If I hear footsteps upstairs, I infer that it is my son, right?
Right.
How do you know it's footsteps and not something else?
Most of the time, it is my son. You know,
Maybe
every
it's
now and then,
cheated.
every now and then, it's one of the cats.
That reminds me of the TV or the series Midnight Mass, where there's these very scary, very tense scenes with somebody walking on the roof or walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Netflix, Midnight Mass.
And do you know who that somebody is yet? There's
Not
Scott.
yet. Do not spoil it for me.
Okay. Anyway.
Were you gonna say something, Nesslig?
I just want to point out that even if you only have living species to compare, you can still compare. Like, for example, we have multiple species of coelacanth today. I think there are 2 at least. And if you say if you say that they are living fossils, then you are saying even these 2 are very similar to each other. And then you can ask, okay, what does the DNA tell us? Are they also similar with regard to DNA? Actually, no, not really. They are also very, very divergent with regard to the DNA. So even that also points towards the fact that they aren't not evolving. They are evolving even then.
Well, I also thought of something else like morphology, I guess, isn't used as much anymore, but it's still used some of the time, even in living species. In fact, that was the only thing we had until the 1950s, 1960s when we could sequence DNA. So I don't know what point he was making there, to be honest.
Yeah, for phylogeny, you need data, and you can sequence billions of letters. Of course, only the differences, if they're all the same, they aren't really informative. But still, you can get a lot of data from the genetics, and but not much from the morphology. But still, even then, you can get some data out of it.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a matter of quantity. Genetics gives you a huge amount of data for the phylogeny, so that's why it's today at least more often preferred. Of course, when it comes to fossils, generally you don't have a lot of genetic data to use, so morphology is the only thing you can use. Even then, that's still useful. Yeah.
And why is it the fact that when we do both, generally morphology aligns with what we get from molecular data? Why is that?
That's one of the big mysteries that creationists will often deny is even relevant.
Right.
Well, now, looking forward a little bit over the next 10 or 20 years with where we're going with genes, we are going to be able to start not just making inferences, but figuring out what a gene may look like, or what a set of genes may look like to make a change between a fossil and an extant species. And that field is going to involve computational embryology, which I predict is going to be a really big thing in about 20, 30 years, maybe 10, 20, 30 years. And we're going to start making more than inferences. We're going to start to show you how to build these old organisms, basically. And that is going to get interesting, because when we take extant species and we come up with a phylogeny, and we look back at those node points that we no longer, all we have is fossil evidence of, right? Or loose fossil evidence of. We're going to be able to go back and figure out what those nodes may have looked like. And that is going to be pretty interesting.
Right.
Because we're starting to see how genes create phenotypes, basically. Yeah, but we're a ways off, and that's going to be a massive computational field. I think it's going to be wonderful.
For that, I actually suggest a good YouTube channel. It's called Johannes Jaeger, although I probably should give the link because it's difficult to search for the name. But he has a very good series of videos on of how evolution affects the process of phenotype formation, and it's really good. So I will find one good video from that, and I'll put it in the link. Yeah.
Okay. I hardly ever ask for links, but anyway, I put all you. I put all your papers in. While you guys were chatting, I was busy putting your papers in the description, so they're now there. So anybody can look at the papers that you put up. Unlike creationists who never seem to want to link anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make that point. And anyway.
Are they in the forum too?
I haven't put them there yet. Come on now. What do you think I am, Superman? Anyway, I'll put this entire...
More permanent than just a one video on YouTube. That's
I know.
what I'm trying to say.
I know. I hear you. It's just that I got to kind of pay attention to what's going on in this channel. So, okay, I will get to it. So now this part right here, 27, is where Matt talks about the Earth being created, and he has some theories. And I just want somebody else to listen to it, and I want somebody to tell me that I'm okay. I just want you guys to tell me that I'm okay. Okay.
You're okay.
Well, no. Listen to this.
Might be okay. I don't know.
No, I might be okay. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm okay after listening to this.
Did we lose David earlier?
Oh, David? Where's David?
Oh, David go? Oh.
David never goes. David's always there. He's always there for me.
Oh man, did we take him for granted?
We took David for granted?
I'm sorry.
Damn it, David.
Why does Peter keep calling him Brian?
That's the strangest thing.
Yeah.
Brian? How do you get Brian from David?
I think it has something to do with that Monty Python movie, The Life of Brian. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's just a theory. Speed is not okay.
Family Guy.
I'll tell you, I had to look at it.
There was that actor Brian Keith who had a son, or who has a son named David Keith, I think.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's the one. And did you know there's an actor named Keith David?
Oh, yeah.
It gets confusing.
It is confusing.
That's
kind of like Scott David. Scott David's pretty confusing. There's David. Where'd you go, David? We were just worried about you.
That was accidental.
David,
we bumped the button.
I put a link to a video from Johannes Jaeger, and it's like a part one of a series of 3 videos on like how molecular interactions create basically how do you put it, orchestrate development and also phenotypes.
Nice.
And also how evolution figures into it also within that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Modeling developmental
let's get to your video
system.
like you want.
Okay, I'm putting this in my description. And I suppose your next question is, have I put it in the forum?
Yeah, and I think it's part 2 or 3 where he talks about the evolution of how this figures into the evolution from fins to limbs.
Okay, it's in the description. How about that, boys and girls? Okay, let's play this video now. Now listen to Ramat's story about the Earth and his idea about why the Earth can't be 4 billion years old, and it couldn't have been formed this way. So,
flood. Well, you got to remember, if we go all the way back to the start, Earth was supposedly created not by God, but by meteor bombardment. Meteors kept slamming into the planet because of gravity, pulling in dust, and it formed a solid granite rock layer. And then meteors bombarded on it, and then eventually volcanoes formed. So if this were true,
bada bing, bada boom.
That we would find. One, we would find lots of meteors.
Okay,
Step 1, meteors. Step 2, volcanoes.
I'm sorry, but now that we're all on the same page, let's listen to it again.
Please.
Okay.
Blood. God. Well, you got to remember, if we go all the way back to the start, Earth was supposedly created not by God, but by meteor bombardment. Meteors kept slamming into the planet because of gravity, pulling in
volcanoes.
Formed a solid granite.
Wait. So Earth was formed by meteors slamming into the Earth, which was already formed?
I was going to say that, but I thought I'd just keep it to myself.
Okay, but it gets better. It forms a solid granite. What? Okay, let's listen.
Rock layer, and then by meteor bombardment. meteors kept slamming into the planet because of gravity, pulling in dust, and it formed a solid granite rock layer. And then meteors bombarded on it, and then eventually volcanoes formed. So if this were true, there would be a couple things that we would find. One, we would find lots of meteor impacts all over that
granite layer.
Did you know in the deepest layers we only find about 29, and in the upper layers we found 120? That's it total. I think there's been a maximum, somebody counted 160 total. Now they included a couple Mars, which are underground volcanoes, as evidence, as they look like meteor impacts, but they actually underground volcanoes. So imagine finding only 190 impacts in the entire Earth geologic record that they've ever found.
Citation needed.
But yet our Earth was supposedly made out of these things. So when we look at how often these meteors actually hit the planet, it's pretty often. So we're finding a lot, meteor impacts which are very low and very seldom in an Earth that was supposedly created by them and has existed for millions of years. So we can explain a lot of the meteor impacts just from chunks of rock that were thrown up during the flood. And then, of course...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were in the flood.
Is it going full lunar bukkake? But
wow.
Let's tackle the issue. Like, Earth has two things. It has a lot of water, which evaporates and condenses in rain and such. It causes erosion, which erases a lot of these old craters. Also, it has plate tectonics, where plates get subducted and overturned over millions of years. So that's why you have a very few craters on Earth compared to, let's say, the Moon, which has a lot.
Yeah, and along with that, with the late heavy bombardment, if a massive amount of meteors were hitting the Earth and it was accreting more mass, you're not going to end up with one impact being solid and like one impact here and one impact there. You're going to end up with a big molten piece of crust, right? And on top of that, the continents weren't quite in the shape they are today. So there was no granite mass that was laid down. And then he made some other comment about it should be rhyolite. Is that coming up?
I think the early Earth was mostly a water world, maybe a few like Hawaiian type volcanoes, but still, there
were a few islands, and it was mostly one big shallow sea. I mean, but that was after the heavy bombardment, I think. And so, like during the heavy bombardment, and at the time when the Earth was being created, okay, so he's saying that you got to imagine millions of meteors hitting this, basically accreting onto this planet, gathering more and more mass. And somehow he thinks that we should find traces of those meteors hitting this molten mass of rock. I mean, like, what is... And then later...
I even question his numbers. I don't know where he gets his information from, but there are more than 120 or 190 craters, on the face of the Earth. As far as like holes, cracks in the crust by meters, I don't know anything about that. But
I don't know. We need a citation.
I don't know where he's getting his numbers. By the way, sent in from Storm Chaser Icarus. This is a tornado that occurred in, is it Kiel or Kyle, Germany? So a rare German tornado.
Wow. And why is it glowing?
I don't know. Maybe it's radioactive.
I don't think that's good.
The sunset or the sun angle?
Yeah, there's a lot of light. So I'm sure it has to do with.
I don't know. To me, that's just like that spider with the glowing eyes that I just looked at. That's the same kind of weird shit going on. Ever since I watched Midnight Mass, this has been happening to me. I don't know.
So that's a nice little tornado whenever you compare it with the stuff in Texas and along the Midwest. And of course, they have that thing called Tornado Alley in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So boy.
So when I was a youngster, we had a tornado in northern Minnesota that was about a half a mile wide. and it went through. And when you looked over the woods, it looked like somebody had taken a lawnmower and cut all the trees off at about 2 or 3 feet, and it just went this wild swath. And there was a car that had been picked up from a parking lot and set down out in the woods, and we went and looked at it, and the hood was open, and the heads on the manifold was ripped off of the engine. Like the manifold was gone, and it was sitting alongside the car, but the battery was still in the car, and the battery was only attached by cables. And it was like weird shit like that was everywhere, but it was just this gigantic tornado. Every now and then we get them, but not usually to that extent. That was pretty incredible. But anyway, mostly it hit out in the woods and nobody cared. It just mowed the woods.
It's just
anyway,
rid of those bunnies.
Yeah, I think there's just a little more of this we want to listen to, and then we can move on to more sane things. Like, I mean, this guy, this guy. Every time he comes on the Standing for Truth channel, everybody in the chat said, "Oh, Professor Matt is here. Like, he knows so much. He's just so he's just encyclopedic knowledge, you know." And then I listen to him, and I'm like, "Oh my God, he's like a toddler."
It's scary how much authority they give him.
Yeah, it is. And then you listen to him, and he says shit like that. And then volcanoes popped up. It's like, what are you talking about?
No, we did cover the fact that accretion is not exactly the same as meteor bombardment, didn't we?
Well,
do we really picture rocks slamming together like that as the Earth was forming from a disk of dust and debris?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we're still accreting mass from outer space.
Right.
Yeah. But I think you're talking about accretion being continental plates drifting up from the ocean, that sort of accretion. That's different. So is that what you meant, Scott?
Well, no, I'm thinking about planet formation, because he said the Earth was made up of or created by meteor impacts, and I just don't think that's an accurate way to describe the formation of planets. But I could be wrong in terms of the energy and the
it's gravitational coalescence.
Yeah.
Or at the very, like, I remember some interesting suggestion that, like, at the very, very early phases where most of the accretion disk was like more dust and gases, that in that phase, like, electric attraction had also an important role to kick off the early accretion process. Like, of course, with small dust grains, gravity is not very significant. So how did the dust first start to accrete? So that's where the electric attraction is more important, because and that gives you like the first accretion process, and then later when you have more mass, then gravity basically takes over the whole process of accreting more and more mass.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a model of that, that disk forming. And how hot was it? I mean, it was extremely hot in the beginning, right?
Like, it depends. Like, I think it depends on the distance of the sun. Like, even back then, I think within the dust cloud, the dust cloud itself wouldn't have generated much heat. It would be more or less dependent on how far you are from the young sun.
Yeah, but then when it started to form the sphere, the core, you know, the Earth itself.
Yeah, of course. Like when you have, of course, the early planetoids, they would have been very hot, depending on how big they are, of course. Yeah. Yeah,
the bigger it got, the more intensely it was being bombarded, and there's a lot of energy given off, and just melted the whole thing.
Of course, when the heavier radioactive elements sank down to the cores, that will also have heated up the inner cores of the.
Yeah, you know, my geology knowledge is just beginning, but I don't think you would get granite, like a layer of granite, right? That the granite is not what you're going to get from that.
Oh no! Granite is actually a late development in the
right.
Like, yeah,
intrusion.
It's continental, a more continental type of rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says something about rhyolite later on, and I'm not like I don't know. Well, let's see if he says it here. I think he says it here. Hang on, we'll play just a little more and then we'll quit. Okay. Oh,
yeah. I think granite is formed. Granite is formed when a hydrated rock subducts below the earth, and because it's hydrated, it interacts very differently with the magma, and that causes volcanism, and that type of volcanism is what gives rise to granite.
No, granite is like a silicaceous, or it's got high silicon content, but it's extruded underneath the earth. Basically, it doesn't end up on the surface. If it gets blasted out on the surface, it becomes rhyolite. But if it's extruded on the inside, it cools in a different manner and forms larger crystals. So, at least that's my understanding of granite. So, and like I say, I'm just a real novice when it comes to geology, but I'm going to get there someday. Okay. As soon as I get done with this molecular, as soon as I understand the entire field of molecular biology of the cell, I'm going to start on geology. So,
yeah, a couple months?
I'm thinking it may take just a little bit longer than that, but we'll see. Maybe, who knows? I'm going to go take some vitamins. Okay.
B6.
Yeah, something. Some kind of vitamins.
First ones that actually did hit the planet. So then we still have granite. But did you know when granite melts, it doesn't come back as granite. It comes back as rhyolite. And
fucking doesn't? Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, I can't say anything here because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. Rhyolite is what you're going to get, I believe, when like, okay, the silicaceous mineral or rock that makes granite, okay, if it blasts out on the surface, it's usually pretty thick, and it tends to form these like tufts, rhyolite tufts or whatever. But that's granite that made it to the surface, and if the granite is extruded underneath, I think it stays. It becomes granite. Otherwise, it's rhyolite. But what he said just makes no sense at all. Even with a very limited knowledge. And that's kind of what I wanted Orge and Jason Torn to come in, but I haven't seen them today yet. So anyway, enough of this, dude. Let's just open her up. And how about them creationists? What the hell are we going to do about them creationists, guys?
Golly gee, creationists.
Jeez.
We would just have to find sources of entertainment elsewhere, pretty much.
They are kind of entertaining, aren't they? When they say dumb shit, like it's really fun.
The only one I don't find entertaining at all is Kent Hovind, just because it's
no,
it's like hearing the same
you're right.
over and over again. It's like, oh my god, okay, just please be quiet. Don't you have some woman to go beat up?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an equivalent TV show that would be like watching Kent Hovind. Well, Fox News.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah. Oh god, I can't.
You beat me to the Fox News remark.
Fox News is. You know what? I think Fox News has learned through watching Alex Jones that, hey, the crazier you are, the more money you can make.
The more money you make, right?
I don't think they believe in half of the bullshit they report on and say. Yeah.
I keep forgetting the guy's name, but he's the one that always looks really like shocked all the time. And on Fox News, the one that says the dumbest shit. What is his name?
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. I keep forgetting it. I keep blocking his name. My mind keeps trying to reject him from like forming any memories.
Like one of the dumbest moments that I've seen is when he talks to like a Latino guy, and he said Latino just like say that, oh, we should I think it's good that we celebrate Mexican culture with we eat tacos, and then the tacos like, oh, don't appropriate tacos. Tacos are American.
Oh
my tacos.
Lord.
My tacos.
Lego my taco.
Lego my taco.
And when you Google tacos, it shows that tacos were like made by Mexicans like thousands of years ago. Like it's a culture of them. So yeah, it's not an American invention.
Well, Tucker Carlson makes Bill O'Reilly seem intelligent.
Yeah.
Like,
Bill O'Reilly is quite intelligent. He just pretends to be dumb. But Tucker Carlson, to me, always looks like he's suffering from a migraine headache or something.
Yes. Or he just woke up. He just hatched out of an egg and he saw the world. That's how he looks.
Excuse me, Randolph, sir. I'm a migraine sufferer, and I do not appreciate being put in this. Anything to do with Tucker Carlson.
There are multiple ways to suffer from it. Yeah, I didn't mean to create that association. Sorry.
But then I saw one clip. There was a clip of Tucker Carlson where he had somebody on that was even crazier than him, and he was actually he was actually so crazy that Tucker Carlson even realized that he was crazy.
Oh,
and I can't remember.
That was Alex Jones, right?
Was that Alex Jones? I'm not,
that's how I can, yeah, that's where I compare.
It's like when Tucker Carlson wants to cut you off and cancel you, you know you're way out in a different universe, entirely different reality. I mean,
did anybody see that video of Tucker Carlson being chewed out by just some guy in a convenience store or a truck stop or whatever?
No.
Tucker was in his flannel shirt and everything, and the guy just came out and said, "What you do is a disgrace," and blah 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 blah. And the guy was going, "Listen, I got my kid here," and so I don't care if you have your kid here. You're a scum or whatever. And so I wanted to poll both the stream and the side chat. If you happen to see on a road trip or something, see Tucker Carlson in a Stuckey's or some sort of truck stop like TA truck stop or whatever, and would you come up to him and start chewing him out, or will you just let him be?
I
would you do?
I'd get in my car as fast as I could. I don't know. He seems a little rapey.
Oh boy.
Fox News does have that reputation with Bill O'Reilly of all people.
I'm sensitive that way.
Your radar starts going off.
Yeah. It's like, I need to get out of here.
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
Ooh. Nestle gave us a link about Granite.
Yeah, I found a good article that talks about granite and how water plays a role in the formation of granite. Like when oceanic crust subducts, it takes a lot of water with it, and the water basically changes the melting point of the magma, and that changing the melting point is, of course, a very complicated process. But long story short, that's how granite is made.
Hi, Barking.
I knew that was Peter.
Somebody mentioned something. I think you just mentioned something about them being kind of rapey. Look at people like Charlie Rose, who come across as very intelligent, and then there was some big scandal going on there.
Yeah.
This stuff is surprising, but it's good that more and more of it's coming out.
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s, he was on, I think it was a PBS for the longest time. I used to love him, to watch him interview with people. He just brought out the most interesting stuff out of people. And I would have never thought he was, I just never would have thought it.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's always a very straightforward, professional kind of presentation. I really liked the presentation style, but hearing that he was like, I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but they were saying that he was naked backstage before the cameras went on, and he was getting massages from staff and stuff. And I don't know what the deal is, what his specific problem was, because I didn't read too much into it, but it doesn't sound good. It's not professional.
Don't Randolph, don't say naked. I might pull up a picture of Speed.
Oh, no, you won't.
I don't want to see.
You get the GERD treatment.
By the way, you were talking about Fox News. Fox is to news what Germania is to good content.
Wow.
That hurts.
That's a backhanded compliment.
But I was about to say that means I make a lot of money off of gullible, stupid people.
That means that if you had a camera, you would look into the camera really surprised, as if you just said something worthwhile listening to.
Which is my default facial expression.
Yeah, probably is.
That's why I have to wear sunglasses with static.
So what happened to your stream last night? I thought you were going to have a stream.
I laughed so hard at my own joke. So Peter was
that was 2 days ago. That wasn't last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to correct you there because I'm not a Peter. But yeah,
okay.
So
it was still 2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago. So I told Peter, well, Peter said, "Are you going to do a live stream tonight?" And I said, "Sure." I said sure, but I was telling a bold-faced lie. I was not going to at all. As soon as I left the stream, though, I decided, wait a second. Yes, I am going to have a stream, and I'm going to make it the longest intro I have ever done before. And then after the intro ended, I played this troll video. It was a popular. It was just like that one song that people will link to. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's this video where the guy's just like.
It's what they called a troll song.
Yes, and then I ended it right after it.
It was great. Yeah,
I think the podcast Cognitive Dissonance used to use that a lot, like between segments on their show. There would be a phase where you'd be hearing la 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 la, but I did not know that there was a video part with that, and it was a creeper dude with just the most.
Oh, that was actually Germania. That was
Germania.
Was that a video of you?
Oh, that was so good.
I've got to know where that came from. What show actually broadcast that?
It's not a show; it's an actual song.
Yeah, that was the only one of your streams that I actually hit the like button on.
Yeah,
but like
I saw Speed in the side chat going nuts. What the fuck, Germania? What are you doing?
Yeah, even Dr. Josh had walked in. Apparently, he had come in right when I played the song, and he said, "What did I just walk into?"
But I mean, it looked like it was like something they used to do on Lawrence Welk or some of these variety shows, where you'd have somebody come in and do something highbrow or whatever. Except it just was so weird.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know if you remember that Twilight episode where they had these two hippies going to hell, and they had to listen to like Lawrence Welk music or something like that.
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, it was Twilight Zone. It was an episode of these hippies, and the hippie is yelling "bummer, bummer, bummer" at the end of it, because you had to listen to them like Lawrence Welk for eternity. It was, but anyway, that was a song.
The feeling I got from that was that time I was watching Family Guy, and they just cut into this old Conway Twitty song, of him, Conway Twitty standing up singing a song like on Hee Haw or something, or some old variety show, and he just sang the whole thing, dressed up like in that 1970s Southern country singer look, and in the 70s, and I thought, man, this is just so weird. And you disturbed me, Gra. You caused me great disturbance in my psychic energy.
I have respect for Lawrence Welk. I was watching a documentary on him a few years ago, and there are a bunch of musicians on there saying that what he did is he set up a fund for most of these musicians because he realized that a lot of them can't manage their money very well. And when he talked to them, they'd say stuff like, "Oh yeah, as soon as I get the money, they're going to spend it all." So he had a portion of that he'd agree with them ahead of time that would go into a fund automatically, portion of the royalties and everything. So when they're older, a lot of these guys were saying, they wasted their life on drugs and booze or whatever bad habits, and then they found they had nothing. And then there's this fund here, so they just feel indebted to Lawrence Welk for this because he had the foresight to do this, and he offered this to everybody. Lawrence Welk took no profit from any of it. He set it all up independently. It's completely with them, nothing to do with him. But the royalties from Lawrence Welk program went to that for them.
That is
a 1, a 2, a 3.
Hey, Speed, can you put Peter's thumbnail on the big screen? I can't read it.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure it's an insult to me.
Say no to Germania?
That's why you want to read it.
I can't read it.
Yeah, I can't read it either.
Otangelo had a T-shirt like that as his avatar. It said, "Say no to Satan, say yes to Jesus." So I made one say no to Otangelo, say yes to Peter.
There you go. Now I can see that it says that now that you tell me.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It's kind of like when you read the lyrics to a song, it's like, oh, that's what they're saying. Okay, I can hear it.
That's the difference between the United States and the Netherlands. We actually learned to read in school pretty early.
So I'm broadcasting this in high resolution, but on StreamYard.
No, you're not. No, you're not, because you're using StreamYard, and StreamYard doesn't do that.
No, it does. No, it has been for the last 3 months. You could get 1080 on StreamYard. So yeah, it is high res, but still your teachers.
So the amateur YouTubers are stepping up.
So is AJ or Atheist Junior? Is he using OBS?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, someday I'm going to use OBS too. I downloaded the image. I just haven't installed it yet because I've been
when you grow up and be smart.
Yeah.
So basically, Peter, when you're helping somebody get started on a YouTube channel, you recommend always that they get the orb stuff. I'm sorry, OBS.
OBS just
Richard
Randolph, you're echoing.
Not Richard. Randolph is echoing.
Somebody's echoing.
So OBS has so much more features and just makes everything look cleaner. So why wouldn't you use it?
Well, Peter, when I'm done working on this modeling software I'm working on, and I grow up and I no longer have a life, and my life is so meaningless that YouTube becomes the focus of my life, then maybe I'll switch over to OBS.
From the man who streams every day.
Yeah, well,
he says when YouTube becomes the focus of the guy who literally spends every single day trying to find content that he can put on YouTube. He says when YouTube becomes my life. The guy who literally has nothing else to do than to go onto YouTube and stream. He says when YouTube becomes my life.
Like right now I am taking a bath and doing other things in my life. And this is just kind of a sideline that I just do while I do normal things. Yeah.
So
by the way, Speed, do you have seconds?
Do I what?
Do you have seconds?
What the hell's that?
I don't know. You sent me an email saying, "Do you have a minute?" So I was wondering if.
Yeah, that was 2 days ago, and that was in the morning apparently, and you responded like 24 hours late, and I didn't need you anymore.
Yeah, because YouTube isn't my life. I've got a real life.
Oh yeah.
So the reason
that's what happened there.
I've seen no evidence.
So Peter, you're wondering why people don't use OBS. Like I like OBS, I use it myself, but there is a bit of a learning curve to it. With StreamYard, they are targeting an audience, a market of people who don't have the time or inclination to learn OBS.
The skills. I always say the people who don't have the skills.
Okay, well, however you want to say it.
I agree. I agree with you, but the simplest way to do it is to just stream StreamYard in OBS, and then you can have an intro without people interrupting. For instance, I don't know that
it shuts off the comment section, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I could use a mute button
that you've come up with to do that.
Yeah.
Anytime Peter's on my stream, I could use a mute button.
To my credit, when you sent me that email, I figured out since I do a show for Simus and I've made some artwork for that, and I thought I could have done better. So I started doing something that I've already have and doing it all over again, but better.
Hey,
So,
how do y'all like
that's
my
what I was doing.
avatar?
Yeah.
I did
Bow
this for
bow ties are
secular
a bit
pagan
small.
mom.
Bow tie's a bit small. I think I have one somewhere with a bigger bow tie.
I'm sure you do. And you can't see my name with Leo's comment highlighted.
Well, it is fairly easy to get started with OBS, but StreamYard definitely makes it a little bit easier. Especially when you want to have guests in, then OBS can be a bit of a challenge for people.
No, because you just use StreamYard to have guests in.
There you go. StreamYard's solving the problem.
And then you use a script. And then you have
it's great. All the customization can be done with OBS. I agree. It can do a lot more. That's why I use it. I prefer it.
Yep. I'm gonna get to it.
And you can actually have some better sound like I do right now.
You should that would be nice. You should change my channel name to Gonna Get to It.
Yeah.
Gonna get to it. Hey,
That's a good name for a channel.
I
also like OBS because it's free open source.
Yeah, and then you could have a second channel like Germania has and call that Someday.
Oh yeah. Someday, yeah.
Gonna Get to It Someday would be the name of that channel.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got to go. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Are you streaming?
Germania, are you streaming?
I mean, yes, I am streaming. I hope.
Oh yeah,
no, you're not. Obviously, he's not.
Oh, I'm totally gonna stream tonight. It won't be a troll. It won't be a prank.
But will John Maddox be
John Maddox,
there?
He's gonna be there. I hope you. Now, my new intro is a little bit long, but just stick around.
Yeah, we'll stick around for the end of it.
John Maddox in there. Okay. See y'all later.
So is Maddox going to be his guest, or is he just in the intro?
He's just trolling us. He's not going to have this stream. He's going to pull his shit again. So we watched the entire intro, and of course, I did not watch the entire intro until later. And then I was like, "Oh man, I'm going to like."
No,
this
you were in the side chat bitching. What the fuck was happening? You watched the entire intro. I saw you watch the entire intro.
I was there for a minute, and it's like, what the fuck?
No, that's not what happened.
Well, let's go look at the timestamps, Peter.
I haven't seen
evidence. Are you inferring, or do you have like real-time evidence that you're looking at?
I was there.
I think you're inferring.
No.
I haven't seen John Maddox around on YouTube anywhere lately. Has he just kind of dropped off the scene?
No, he did. That was his stream that we were reviewing earlier with Raw Matt on it.
Okay,
that was on Maddox's channel.
Oh, so John Maddox is back and causing the usual trouble again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
he has a lot of troubles.
Yeah, he's a hardworking man. He works about 70 hours a week to support himself. So he hasn't been on that much lately, and I'm not sure if he actually has a home anymore. So
70 hours a week? Whoa,
that's what he says. That's what he says.
Oh, that's what he says. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he running his own business?
I can tell you backstage, but I give him shit for it. And there are people that make a living doing this, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's honest. But I guess when you come on all bragging, with bragging about your entrepreneurial adventures and talking to billionaires.
What's up, everybody? John Maddox here, coming at you with another late night logical block. We're going to be having an open mic discussion. You never know where we might end up. But I will tell you this: before we're done, we will have put some Evos in their place, because when I'm finished, you done.
I wasn't sure if I was playing that shit or.
I was worried that I was doing that. Yeah,
it just haunts me, man.
Invigorating.
Yeah, it haunts me.
The sound was really good because Peter's using OBS.
Yep. That's what you can do with OBS.
For the most part, it's hard to listen to Maddox unless he's doing cute stuff like going after somebody. But last night he had the fruit bat on, and the fruit bat was spouting the most wonderful nonsense. And it was just. Yeah. I mean, when you listen to this guy,
the Earth was created by something that hit it after it was created. That's some logic right there. And that's creationist logic.
And then it would have formed this big granite layer, and then some volcanoes popped up, and then of course we would have seen the meteorite holes, all over the granite.
We don't see those. We don't see those because
why would someone call themselves a fruit bat?
Well, I think that may be my pet name for him, but
okay.
Raw Matt the fruit bat, yeah. Because he's a fruitarian, and he claims you can live on I don't know. He's got all these berry mixtures that he recommends, and one time he lived on honey for 2 months, and not just honey, but he wandered around the woods, ripping up beehives and eating raw honey out of beehives, and
I think we should all do a support stream so Raw Matt can go back to being a breatharian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Indefinitely, and that would help the world massively, I think.
Yeah. How long was he a breatharian for?
I don't know.
He says a couple of months. He says a couple of months. Yeah. I very much doubt that. But
why is it that breatharians end up buckling under peer pressure at these fancy events they keep getting invited to, and end up eating food anyway?
Yeah,
I've never understood this.
It's peer pressure.
Yes, peer pressure. Yeah.
I think the fact that he lived on pure air for 2 months is as true as there being a god.
Like no water. These people claim to live on no water. No water
yes.
for 2. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, the breatharians. That means no food or liquid intakes.
Yep. Where are they buried?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think breatharians. All the claims of breatharians is just hot air, but could be me.
Could be hot air. Yeah. Oh my.
Okay, by the way, where's Speed? Where's the bright guy?
The bright guy, I sent him a link and he hasn't shown up. So I don't know. He's on Discord.
So there's a bright guy on the YouTubes.
Yeah,
he's literally in the dark about this.
He is in the dark. He has not brightened our day with his presence.
Nope.
He popped in and I had a paper up on the screen and I read it and I felt really bad about that. But I should have had him read it because he reads better than I do, I think.
We may have talked about that somewhere offline. I forgot where it was.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, on Jefferson's channel. By the way, for people who missed it, we reamed Otangelo a bit on Jefferson's channel. So if you missed that
yesterday. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no. I watched part of that stream.
The guy you accused me of calling Brian was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That asshole. Nobody knows him.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit sad because the idea was that we were to review another video, and then I missed 3 letters in Jefferson's message, which were EST. So I thought we were starting at 6 p.m. Central, when in fact we were starting at 6 p.m. EST.
I just moderated between Godless Granny and Otangelo, and the conversation actually went quite well. Otangelo, honestly,
that was a great conversation, and I love the moderation as well. By the way,
thank you.
You did a great job.
Yeah, they were good guests too, and I even talked to Otangelo after the show was over backstage, and he was feeling really bad about not knowing answers to things, and I told him, actually, No, and I told him seriously. I said, I have a lot of respect for people who are willing to say that they don't know because it's honest. So I told him never feel apologetic about that. It's okay to say that. It's better to do that. And he seemed quite happy with my reaction there. So hopefully he'll do more of that, and maybe things will improve. That's what I'm hoping for.
To Otangelo's credit, he did speak a lot more in this debate than he did in the debate about the arc that he was mentioning during the show.
So what stream was this? I can't find it. A Dark Dawkins double feature with guests Peter and Brian?
Yes, that would be it.
So Speed, you just read it out.
Folks, I gotta go.
It wasn't me who calls David Brian. It was Jefferson.
He was getting Peter.
No, I wasn't kidding. I've heard Peter do it too.
No,
really?
No.
Oh, maybe you guys sound that much alike that I confused the two of you? Wow.
No, I always call him David. There is someone who calls him Laurie all the time. That's a guy called Otangelo.
And John Maddox calls him Scott? Is it
David Scott or Scott David? Yeah, either one.
Scott David.
Yeah. But
I'm a nobody.
Well, yes, I got it wrong, Peter. I apologize, Peter. But now, where's my apology?
I'm the one with the weird accent.
Your apology for what?
For you pasting my face on your wrinkled body.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
When did I do that?
Just like Urkel there.
Well, I don't remember you asking me for a naked selfie, so that can't be me. So I assume it was your body. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Anyway, I think we got to shoot this. Oh, Peter got removed. Okay, we're going to shoot this in the head now. Guys, boys and girls, we're quitting now. Is barking back? Okay, barking's back. Okay. We're shooting in the head, boys and girls.
Stay curious.
Yeah, that was your... Oh, my goodness.
Stay clothed.
He's doing it again. He's doing it again.
Okay. I have my face rig up. Sorry, I didn't see it.
Anyway. Okay, what are we doing here? Goodbye, cruel world. We're out of here.